Awesome. All right. So it's supposed to say that I fight the battle. that I fight alongside the brave in the battle against regret. Okay. So I don't have a presentation on the board. So, all right, here we go. First of all, I want you to pull out your program if you have it, your bulletin. And you will notice that it says that I am speaking on how to use Facebook to build a tribe. Where it says build a tribe, I want you to scratch out tribe and put relationships. Because I've had an epiphany yesterday after these were printed. And what I'm really going to talk about is not building a tribe, not really building a group of people that follow along behind you, but really building relationships with the people who are passionate about the things you're passionate about, building it with you, and also building relationships with each other, which I think is really a really cool thing that I have experienced recently. So, all right, really quick, why Facebook? Why not Facebook? Facebook's what worked for me. I think if you have a business or a brand, you need to be active. And by active, I mean have a profile on every social media platform, because you don't know which one's going to work. You don't know where your clients are going to be. So you need to have your picture, your tagline, and your website on everything. So if people are Googling you or they're looking to see, kind of vet you, that you'll pop up in LinkedIn, even though I'm not super active on LinkedIn. If people Google me and they find my LinkedIn profile, they say, okay, yes, she's legit. So you need to have every social media platform covered. But I've been really, all my clients are hanging out on Facebook. Flight attendants, people who want to be flight attendants, they love people, they love community, they love talking, so they love Facebook. They love hanging out, they love sharing pictures. That's where they are, so that's where I am. So if your people are on Pinterest because you are a chef, well then you want to hang out there. But we're going to talk about Facebook. So, all right, so Facebook basics, really quick. There's 3 different sort of things that you can have in Facebook. You have your profile. This is where your grandma goes to look at the pictures of your kids. So this is your profile. You have a page, and you would have a page for your business. And this is almost like your storefront or your billboard. This is where you talk about specials and make announcements. This is almost a formal place on Facebook. And then I want you to have a group. And a group is where you really build the relationships. So when you pick a name, you may not use the name of your business or the name of your book for your Facebook group. Like the name of my Facebook group is not Looking Skyward, even though that's the name of my book, because I wanted it to be very searchable, and I wanted when Facebook suggested it to someone that they knew instantly what it was, Flight Attendant Career Connection. They know what it is. They don't have to, is it bird watching? Is it cloud shapes? What is it? It's flight attendants. So that's what I want you to consider when you pick your Facebook group. It doesn't have to be your business name or your book name. So how did this all start? Last year I wrote a book. I had no platform in my niche. I'm also a mommy blogger, so I had a little following over there, but I had no platform at all when I published my book. And I decided I would try everything. And one of the things that I read was start a Facebook group and give it away as a giveaway if people buy your book. Well, not enough people were buying my book to join the Facebook group to give it any value, so it really wasn't a very good giveaway. So I just opened it up. And 2 months after my book launch, it had doubled in size from 6 people to 12, right? Okay, so awesome. So here's what I did. I got really fed up and got a big dose of bravery, and I went to Indeed.com, which is a job search website, and they have forums, and I pretended it wasn't my page, and I said, guess what, y'all? I found this great Facebook group. Come join it. It's awesome. And so people started joining it. It took the first 1,000 members of my group took 5 weeks to grow after I first advertised it. And when I say advertising, it wasn't paid. I just actually talked about it somewhere. So it took 5 weeks. After that, the snowball started rolling, 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 rolling. So today, I have 5,504 members in my Facebook group. And that took me about 7 months. I reached 4,000 at 6 months. I know in my thing it says from 0 to 5,000 in 6 months, but I didn't make it to 5,000, but I was hoping when I wrote the title. So I made it to 4,000. But since you have my expertise, y'all can probably do 5,000 because you don't have to make the mistakes, right? Okay, so I don't talk about my group anymore. I don't put it on Indeed. Facebook just suggests it to people who are either looking for things about flight attendants or they're in another group that talks about flight attendants. Facebook does all that for me. And I'm not talking about paid ads, I just mean they suggest groups. So that's awesome. I also get referrals from people. People invite their friends in. People give it to their cousin who always tells their cousin who always wanted to be a flight attendant about the group. So now I'm going to talk about the things that I have done that I feel like have made my group a success. Because my group is not just big, it is a community of people that love each other, support each other, and encourage each other. It's really similar to another group that I think y'all may be familiar with. And I actually used Dreamers and Builders as my inspiration. I watched John. I tried to think, like, what would he do? How does he handle this? When someone needed to leave, how did he handle it? So I watched him, and I tried to mirror what he did, and it worked. And it's growing, and these people are in love with each other, and they're in love with me, which is kind of cool. All right, so here's what I did. The first thing I want to tell you is that you need to be generous. So you're going to be generous with your answers. You're going to be generous with your encouragement. You're going to be generous with your likes. When someone puts something, posts inside the group, because everyone can post in a group, it's not like a page where I'm just putting something out and people comment on my post. They get to start their own posts. I like it if they, I got this new lipstick for my interview. I say, that's awesome. What a great color. That looks perfect with your skin. I'm generous with my encouragement. I try to like every post. I'm generous with my likes. Because you will quickly become famous in your space, which is kind of weird because you are still you, but they see you as famous. And I don't mean famous like I'm famous because now I'm like on TV, but in my space, in my niche, I'm famous. I'm the go-to girl. I'm the one, if someone, I'm recommended by people, I'm the go-to person. So when I show up and I like something or I post, that color looks great on you, it's a big deal to them. So I, on purpose, am very generous with my likes and my encouragement. Okay, so the second thing is to be knowledgeable. I know Mike talked about false humility. You cannot be modest in your group. It's your group. You started the group because you had something to say. You started the group because you were passionate about it and because you believed in your heart somewhere that you had something to offer. So if you hide behind this sort of like, well, I kind of think, or I'm not really sure, or I'm not an expert, that doesn't inspire trust. So confidence is what inspires trust. Trust is what, when people trust you, that's what makes you an expert. And the expertise is what makes you famous. And what makes you famous is what gets your name out there and gets your brand growing and gets you known for what you really want to be known for. So modesty, though, is not the same as being gracious. So when someone comes to you and they say, thank you so much, or I can't believe you did this for me, or that was so funny, or you're so smart, be gracious. Don't downplay it with this false humility or with this modesty, but be gracious. Thank you so much. You know, I say a lot when people say, thank you, I couldn't have gotten my wings without you. It was all you. You knocked it out of the park. It was awesome to work with you. I'm just glad I got to know you. I'm gracious to them, but I don't downplay my part. So you know your stuff and own it. All right, here's where it gets kind of tricky. When you're knowledgeable, part of your knowledge and your expertise comes from your failures. The fact that you've fallen down, the fact that you were rejected, the fact that you almost lost everything, that is where a lot of your knowledge comes from, unfortunately, or fortunately. So being transparent. The first time I did a webinar, the first time I spoke to my group, I had a choice to make. I was fired from my first airline. I had been flying with them for 3 weeks. I had a mix-up with crew scheduling, and I was fired. I was let go. I went on to fly for another airline, which is fine, but I was so afraid to tell them that I had been fired because I thought people would say, she was fired? How can she be an expert? She obviously isn't as great or as smart or as knowledgeable as she's presenting herself because she was fired from a major airline. But when I told that story, it broke down some walls, and I've had people come to me that have experienced other failures or other rejections, and it opens a door because they realize that I didn't get lucky, or that I didn't just have everything together, or that I had something they didn't have. They realize that I fell down, I was rejected, and I went on and lived my dream. And so they have the chance, after they're rejected, to go on and live their dream. So being transparent is hard, but I would really suggest that you do that. I also just want to mention that as your fame grows, be prepared to feel like a fraud. Like at the beginning, I sort of felt like they're going to find out that I maybe am not as awesome as they're thinking that I am. But as long as you are transparent and you're honest and you're generous, you're not a fraud. You're being exactly who you are, exactly who God created you to be, and it's just resonating with them, and they're really excited that they found a kindred spirit in you. So that's okay. It's okay to kind of feel like a fraud and to just kind of move forward and to continue to be honest and to continue to own it. I just want to warn you that you will feel like that. So the next thing that you have to be is very brave. This is a battle. When you think about a tribe, tribes of people, they sometimes have to defend their land, they have to defend their families, they have to battle together. So when you have a tribe, you're going to have to fight for it, and you're going to have to battle. So here's what you're battling. Well, the first thing you have to do is protect yourself, because people will talk ugly about you. People will be snarky to you. People will talk bad about the products that you created, the books that you created. They'll give you a 1-star review. They'll say, "What does she know?" As you get famous in your group, they stop seeing you as a person, even though you are very much a person with feelings. They will stop seeing you that way. These ugly things that they're actually affecting a person. So you have to sort of take yourself out of it a little bit and get some thick skin, which is kind of scary, but you have to protect yourself. You also have to protect your members, because this is your tribe. You have to protect them. So you're protecting them from spam. You have to be very active in your Facebook group, that you're deleting spam and that you're getting people, you're removing people from the situation that maybe need to go, that are only there to sell Ray-Ban sunglasses. You will need to move them out, because they will come. You also are going to have to protect your group from your competition. So I have people sometimes that send out messages to all my Facebook group members selling their version of my coaching products, which is always interesting. And one of my fierce, people that just love me and are all in with me will send me a message and say, so-and-so is sending out, trying to solicit business from you. And so then I have to send them a message and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so you have to stay, that's just something that I wasn't expecting. You have to fight for that. You also have to protect them from bad advice. Sometimes, since it is a group, everyone can put their opinion in, and you have to be really careful that you don't let that bad advice stand, but that you're also not hurting anybody's feelings. And you have to protect them from each other. It's like you have this big family of children, and they're in the back seat, and they're punching each other, and you have to say, "Look, y'all, I'm going to have to pull over, and somebody's going to have to be left on the side of the road if y'all cannot get along." And you're working with adults, and you would think that they wouldn't be ugly to you, but they are to each other, but they are. It's like sibling rivalry all the time. So you have to be kind of aware of that, and you're following along in your Facebook group, and you're making sure that they don't hurt each other, and that the relationships with each other are staying strong and healthy too. And the last thing, I'm almost out of time. Okay, last thing is you have to be hustling, because they can't buy what you're selling when I have a minute left. And we're off. No, so you have to be hustling. They can't buy if they don't know you're selling. So even though you're creating a community, make sure that you are occasionally talking about new products you have coming out, or new things that you have going on, so that they know your business and they know what you're selling. Because if you believe your product, your book, your coaching offers value, if you really believe that in your heart, it's a disservice to them for you not to offer it. Make sure you're collecting email addresses, because Facebook is very fickle and they may change the rules. Okay? Try to send people to your website, because that's where you do a lot of selling. And I want you to remember that it's all about relationship, that sales come from relationship, and that everything is about relationship. The more you are pouring in, you cannot be too generous. You cannot be too encouraging to your people. It's all about relationship. So everyone is looking for a safe place to tell their story. Can you be someone's safe place?